So I've experienced a lot of good and bad times since, being outdoors. A lot of good, a lot of bad, and some scary. This is going to be one of the scary stories, and I'm going to call it, I Want to Help You. This took place the first week of October 2023, maybe the second week. All I know is I hadn't been outside very long. It had been within my first 2 weeks. I had no street smarts at the time. In fact, compared to now, back then, I was an idiot. I had been staying in a very tiny one-person coffin-sized tent in the city of Toronto in one of the very large forest parks. I thought I had found myself the perfect spot to set up. No one really around, no trails nearby. I thought I was safe. I don't know why I had such a false sense of security. I had this tiny tent. It was winterized. The tent itself was a small canvas tent that had a tarp that goes over top of it. The tarp zipped up and the tent itself had a zipper on it. That's very important. Things weren't bad. I was getting on very well. I was going outside my tent every day, having myself a nice little meal. I had a butane stove. Like to cook myself mac and cheese on it a lot. And again, at that time, no street smarts. I just figured, this is camping. This isn't bad. I'm going to have a great old time. It was fairly early in the morning when I was woken up. I could hear footsteps circling my tent, poking it, prodding my tent. It woke me up, and I didn't know what was going on. I kept my mouth shut for a little bit until I heard, tugging on the tarp. So I mustered my courage up and I said, "Hey, who's out there? What's going on? Who's out there?" I got no reply, so I raised my voice a bit. "Who's out there? What are you doing? What do you want?" And I will never forget the guy's voice. It's burned into my memory. He had an accent, and he's like, "Oh, this is a nice tent." And I was like, "Okay, what do you want, bud?" And he was like, "Whoa, it smells in there. What are you doing? It smells." This is a whole new experience for me, and right then, my heart, for some reason, just started to pound. The kind of pounding where you are in so much fear, the boom, boom, boom of your heart, it's gonna leap right out of your chest. And I had no idea what was going on, but all my senses were just saying, "Danger, this is bad." So I'm sitting there, and then I hear him fiddling around with the outer zipper of the tarp section of my tent, trying to open it. And I said, "Hey, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, can I come in? I want to come in." And I'm like, "No, you can't come in. I don't want you in here." And that's where things got really weird. He unzipped the first layer of my tent, and I was like, "Man, what are you doing?" And all he said was, "Oh, I can help you. I want to help you. I want to help you." He just kept repeating, "I can help you. I want to help you. I'm going to help you. I want to help you." He's tried to start opening the second layer of my tent. I wasn't letting that happen. I held the two zippers together with my right hand, though that thing wasn't opening for anything. I'm really scared at this time. But that's where I noticed it. He had a knife. I was sitting there trying to keep those zippers clamped shut for dear life. And in his right hand, he had a knife. I could see the glinting metal through the fabric of my tent. Now, in all honesty, I can't tell you how big this knife was. In my mind, it was 12 inches long, dripping with blood. But trauma does that. At this point, he's completely lost it. And he's just saying over and over again, "I can help you. I want to help you. I can help you." And you got a nice big fancy blade in your hand. You're the kind of help you're offering I don't want. It was right then something kind of snapped in me. The fight or flight response kicked in, and I had no option to run, so it was fight. And in my deepest booming voice I could muster, I was like, "Fine, you want to come in? I'm coming out." I don't know what happened, but I let go of the zipper and making moves to get up and unzip so I can, jump out. He ran. I could hear footsteps really quickly going away, even before I could get the tent zipper open. And I popped out, stood up and looked around, and I couldn't see him. He was just gone. I'm looking around trying to figure out what just happened. My heart is going a million miles a second. And the rest of it is just a blur. I know I ripped down my camp within 30 seconds. I didn't bother untying the ropes I was using to keep the tent down and the tarp spread. I just cut, crumpled, and stuffed everything into my bag, and 30 seconds I was gone. And I'll tell you, for the next day or two, I really didn't sleep. And if you think that's the end of the story, you're wrong. There was an older woman in the area, staying in the area, that I'd met who'd helped me out a lot. Her name was Susan. We actually became pretty good friends. She had this like forest witch set up. She was in a tent, but she had like these baby dolls all out of it. Kind of really scary stuff. And I texted her and I told her what happened, and she told me to probably best to get out of the area for the night, that she's not going to come back. She said she's gone from the area for the night, and I did pretty much the same thing. I ended up walking around for the whole night. In the morning, I got a text 10, 11 o'clock in the morning from Susan asking if I could come down and give her a hand, because someone slashed her tent to ribbons. Like someone took a knife, cut her thing all to pieces. It was garbage and scary. I did that. I helped her pack up and get her stuff disposed of. All I can think of is that person, he was looking for someone to hurt. And if I had have not been who I am, a big, scary, hulking guy who, I don't know, just mustered his courage up, and I was an older or younger woman, that blade was going to get used. All in all, I try to think of this as a very positive learning experience. When I hear footsteps now, I'm up, I'm ready to go. I mind my surroundings, and I guess you just got to look at the bad for the good that you get out of it. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these story series. I enjoy doing them, and they are true, so might as well share them. Hope to see you in the next one.